Hello everyone, welcome to SNHU Sports. It is Overwatch tonight. We are going to be going in one game late. We had some technical difficulties that took a little bit of time to get worked out, but we are ready to go. I am joined by one of our Sapphire players as we are going to be covering Pearl tonight.
Yeah, exciting. Always here to support the B team. It's always a good time. We just finished up our match for Sapphire. That was a good time. Ready to watch my pro players crush it here.
The first match was Lijiang, and they did believe they won,
I have
I
no
think.
idea.
Yeah, well, yeah, they were waiting for the results to come in. But Overwatch, a lot of changes that have come up over especially the last like week or so, or a little over a week with the new patch drop. They obviously did the whole rescheming of everything. Got
Oh yeah,
5 new heroes coming in,
5 characters.
which is insane.
Yeah, absolutely insane. And I'm more than confident we're gonna see a couple of those characters in some of these matches
I
for sure.
I think when I was looking over, St. Lawrence did take the first round, so they did take the control map. But yeah, I think I saw the Dominia, the new
Ah,
tank,
yes.
come in a little bit there, and I was like, oh, okay, so we're gonna see some of the new ones.
Yep. Domina definitely a super strong tank right now in the meta for sure. Really strong at poke. She kind of just overtakes Sig in a lot of poke battles. So hoping we're going to see more of her. Also, Jetpack Cat, the character
Jetpack.
everyone's so excited about. I know we're going to be seeing some of that as well. That character's super strong. So
Well,
yeah.
yeah, I mean, it's what permafly. You can grapple people, so
Yeah, I'm just
to
feel
eat them off a map.
yeah, it's insane. A billion damage, a billion healing.
It's yeah,
It's
but Dominion can do the same. Well, not maybe to the same extent, but can definitely heal.
yeah.
Going in when I was kind of looking at some of the patch notes, some of the abilities had a little bit of healing
Yeah,
potential there.
absolutely. So every time um Domino does damage with her abilities, she regenerates her disgusting. She can build up
Oh,
so much shield regen with
so what you probably really want to bash and just lay fire down as much as you
that.
can, really.
We've seen, well, it's funny you mentioned Bastion. We've seen Bastion Jetpack Cat
Oh
flying, flying
no!
around. They call it Quidditch. Yeah, but that's the yeah, I don't know if it should be taken
So
seriously,
this
but
is
it's
no longer the pharmacy combo. It is now
the
the Quidditch combo.
yeah. And you get a Mercy tagging along as well with the
Yo
Bastion Jetpack.
no!
Yeah, it's a blast. You basically with Bastion's perk that turns his turret into
Yep.
like the cannon.
Mhm.
Oh, okay. The Bastion turret turning into the artillery
Yeah.
shells. It basically becomes a Far Mercy.
I mean, I could see it. That would just be yeah, because the whole perk came around and they started doing the whole rockets and started becoming its own turret things. I mean, yeah, I don't think I want to calculate and try to figure out how bad that would hurt to try to go through, especially something like Eichenwald.
Yep.
That would just be absolutely painful. But so we got Jetpack Cat. Then
Yep.
there is Mizuki.
Yes. Mizuki is another one of the sports. I don't think he's all that great right now in meta, so we might not see much of him.
Yeah, I mean, got kind of just quick glance. I mean, it seemed a lot of the healing potential came off of I guess it was like the E ability for the tossing of his hat.
Yep. That can bounce between a bunch of people nearby.
Oh, so it's not just the one.
Yep.
It's ooh,
Yeah. So it is pretty solid healing output, but it's not up to par to some of the other stuff we've
right. Like
been
you
seeing.
see, like Kiriko or Lucio, where
Yep.
they can kind of put out substantial healing while that's all going on.
Yep. And for new DPS, Onron and Emre. Emre, I think, is kind of the shining star of that DPS duo.
Yeah, because it's like the ultimate's like a res,
For
I believe.
Onron, that's
On
the
run,
that's
yeah.
the res ultimate. That one's exciting. We've actually seen a couple of bugs with that ult.
Really?
She hasn't gotten banned or anything from anything, but you chain together the revives over and over again if you die frame one of getting rezzed.
Oh,
So,
so you're just spamming the damage boost at
so yep,
2,000 points of damage that
yep.
comes out every time.
So we
Oh,
saw a clip from anything where somebody rezzed 3 times in a row, which was diabolical.
I mean, it's Blizzard, it's Activision, it's all the fun stuff. You know, usually their first patches are pretty buggy when they come out with the new stuff.
Oh yeah,
But yeah, what's new with the other one?
yeah. So that was Onron. But Emre is other new DPS. He's hit scan,
Hmm.
and he has some really high damage potential. That is aim down sights rifle, and then you can
Hmm.
also switch over to the pistol that gives him jump height and life steal on the pistol damage. It's pretty disgusting,
Yeah.
as well as some bouncy nades for the ability, and then for his ultimate, kind of goes up in the air and shoots up these charge shots.
Oh,
Yeah,
so it's kind of like a soldier meets
yeah.
I can't think of that one. The one that jumps up and leaps up in the air. Well, Ilari.
Oh, yes, 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 exactly.
It's kind of a weird combination between
Yeah, it is a
those.
weird combination, but man, he does killer damage. Crazy.
Well, I mean, I kind of when I kind of saw the character, I was like, are we just getting a soldier reskin?
Yeah, he
Like,
definitely looks the part.
it really, really does look that part. Kind of curious to see how these bands are going. I kind of
And
know
then,
what we got going on over there. But so we are down by one. So I'm
yep,
also kind of curious to see what they're going to be picking because now it's either going to be um what hybrid con not control. We just did control
yeah,
hybrid
just hybrid or escort.
escort and then flashpoint
Yeah,
for the picks.
yeah.
So
I'm curious what Pearl is gonna take them. They
I
definitely
I
have a lot of options, especially with hybrid and escort. I definitely think
yeah.
we'll be seeing some domino. Hybrid and escort, I think,
Mm.
are pretty poke dominated maps for.
I mean, I personally prefer the hybrid game modes,
Yeah.
honestly. A little bit more fun, a little bit more kind of trickier sometimes too, because you got to get that first choke point
Yep.
through, especially when you're looking at was it downtown or
Midtown,
not midtown? The has like not the movie sets. Has the bank in it.
the bank,
They go through the end.
Blinkens.
Yeah, I know. I can't think of it either. About to look at this cheat sheet.
The bank.
Yeah, it's the you go under because you have to get that first checkpoint.
Yeah.
Has the overpass.
Yep.
And it's a fire engine in front of it.
Pass. I'm thinking banks, like thinking Dorado. I'm thinking
It
Junkertown.
might be Dorado.
I know Dorado has a bank on
Well, it's
it.
because you have the overpass.
Yeah.
You go through it. There's the fire engine, and then once you take it, it shoots out a fire engine. You have to go through a door that goes immediately to the right side. And you go
This
in that underpass.
sounds like Midtown.
It might be Midtown. I might be forgetting. I mean, there's so many maps that we can go through.
Oh yeah,
Though it
absolutely.
looks like there's a little bit of a delay going. Okay,
All
there
right.
is going to be a delay. So we will be right back once this delay is over and the game gets underway. Okay. Welcome back, everyone. We were about to get underway, and the next map is going to be Eichenwald, which honestly, I like Eichenwald. It's a really, really fun map.
Yeah.
We were kind of talking about choke points,
Yep.
and there's going to be that immediately first choke point
Oh yeah.
they're going to be going into. Kind of curious to see if we're going to be on defense or attack first.
Yeah, and we did an on-Ron ban. Very exciting. I do think that character definitely has some potential as in the flex DPS spot. So I think that's a respectable ban, to be honest.
It is, yeah. I mean, considering we were just talking about they had a little glitch there, you could spam it three
Yeah.
times back to back. I mean,
Yep.
hey,
Fair enough. Might
it's
as
like
well
six
avoid that.
thousand damage right there.
Yep. But
But
yeah, I'm curious what Pearl is going to be rolling out on banning Onron. Oh,
oh, there's a Sig ban coming in too
okay.
from St. Lawrence. And we're about to go into this game shortly. So Sig ban, so that means really we're probably if we're gonna go with shield tanks, then it's gonna be Dominia.
I guess we'll find out what we're rolling on here.
And SNHU there is on the right side. In the yellow, and St. Lawrence is on the side here. Looking around, waiting.
Yeah, so Eichenwald, it's a very loved map, I'd say, for the hybrid spot. Maybe King's
Yeah.
Row maybe takes the crown for hybrid map, but I'd say Eichenwald is right up there with really good hybrid maps. I think there's a lot of options for different kinds of comps here. There's this big open section and the high ground,
Yep.
and then there's also some close quarters with
Hmm.
chokes. And so I think a lot of things can work here. And so it looks like what Pearl's gonna run out. We got an Ash, Sombra. Looks like some poke. Look like a little bit of brawl too. Um, I'm excited for this. Looks good. I'm excited to see Domina being played for Pearl here. And I think the Sig ban for sure that just reinforces wanting to play Domina. Absolutely.
I mean, it does. It is gonna help in the long run, and we do have a jetpack cat, so we will see how that goes there. But kind of looking over at St. Lawrence, I mean, we see the Kiriko. We do have a monkey there, Winston and Sojourn and the Venture. Um, and I mean, that's a pretty standard like composition that we saw from like last season. Really, already going over pivot there, getting as SNHU is playing pretty aggressively. No, like St. Lawrence had to put up any contest there in that choke point. Looks like they're going to try to hold him back at the point here.
Yeah, this map rotation from Pearl was pretty cool. We took the Jetpack Cat and the Domino straight over the roof on Eichenwald and we jump scared them. Now SNHU Pearl is absolutely hammering down on this monkey. He had to retreat right back to the point. We've got some angles here on them, but but Kitsune goes down on the angle there, and our Jetpack Cat gets owned as well by the Venture.
Yeah,
Look,
meanwhile, Dominio over here is just holding behind, trying to get some cover. There goes out one of the shields. SNHU here is going to get pushed back, and they're going to have to reset. Which, I mean, St. And we do looks like Yashi here is going to get a little more aggressive sitting in the front. We'll wait for someone to come by. And Dominia, their Pokemon is just really just kind of trying to get a little poke there, get some ray damage going in.
yeah,
Um,
I think SNHU Pearl is definitely gonna have to find their time here. Really gonna have to play it patiently. Really gonna have to find the space that they can play. But looks like Yashi, the enemy Winston, has jumped right on top of them. SNHU Pearl has to make a decision here whether to turn this. But it looks like we're going head first into the enemy here. Um,
yeah, I mean, looks like there's the immortality field came out there a little bit too, keeps people up. There is that shield. Meanwhile, Yashi's still alive. He gets that stun there. They go in the Winston is still alive. That's gonna be an issue. If they need to either focus, get the healers down, or take off Monkey there.
Yep. Well, we lose another on this issue, Pearl. So looks like we're gonna have to back up a little bit and regroup. But we're coming up on the Domino ult, which we've seen is pretty strong if not dealt with. It's gonna put a barrier around all your opponents. They're gonna explode if the enemies don't shoot those barriers. So I'm really, really looking forward to seeing that ult out here.
Just get a Reaper all right in the middle of everyone as they're already focused on trying to hit the shields.
Yep, absolutely. And this enemy Winston just continuous, constant pressure all the time. We're gonna have to see SNHU Pearl make some adjustments here to try and turn that monkey or to apply some more frontal pressure. And it looks like we can see the Winston already in the backline making moves. And Skelter goes down in the backline. They're really taking a lot of angles here, St. Lawrence. They're really applying pressure constant.
Well, I mean, you're kind of looking. I mean, Yashi being able to have the Winston is that have mobility, got the soldier in there, and Ventura can just dive around to go in. And speaking of the soldier, and that soldier and alt is already charged as well, and there's going to send that railgun. Pokemon's there is going to take out Venture. Still, soldier just holding the alt there. Finally goes off, gets that railgun charge, and there comes the ultimate from the support. over on St. Lawrence is going to keep everyone up. Skelter, though, is going to get rid of the support. And there goes
Oh,
another elimination there. And it's going to force St. Lawrence to back off this point here. SNHU now starting to cap with a 5-player kill streak from Skelter.
and very nicely done, I must admit. St. Lawrence committed 3 ultimates to that fight, and SNHU Pro only one, and we still took that. That's incredibly impressive.
SNHU now able to get that choke point through the choke point, slowly getting this payload moving here, and we're going to start seeing the map really start opening up. A lot of wide open areas for everyone to set up, especially in those high points in this castle right past this gate.
Yep, absolutely. And we can already see St. Lawrence taking lots of angles here on these high ground points. I'm curious to see what SNHU Pearl is going to do to dismantle this.
Looks like Jetpack out there is going to go ahead and take their tank straight in there. His Pokemon is going to get dropped in the middle. Meanwhile, that payload is still going and it's still holding their own and forcing everyone back here. Oh, past the point. Winston already jumping in. Is going to start hammering this back line, and the Dominion ult still being held. Just waiting for that perfect time to use it.
Yep, we do lose one on SNHU Pearl here. Skelter went down, so it looks like SNHU Pearl's really got to play their time here, play it safe, make sure that we don't lose any more.
Yeah, Winston is going to be is still that issue, just being able to jump around. I mean, SNHU, I mean, Bibbit and Fives there are able to really keep everyone in SNHU up, but if you're constantly getting harassed by Winston in the back, you're not really be able to push that payload all that much or effectively. As we see, looks like Reaper here getting ready to come up. May not quite. Still going to go after this Winston, chase the Winston down, get a little reload, a little bit of reset. So far, I mean, St. Lawrence is doing a pretty good job at staying fairly disciplined by not getting close enough so that Reaper ult isn't really too much of a danger to them. And there comes the Reaper ult. Does
Oh,
not last very long as Char is going to take out Skelter there right at the beginning of the ultimate.
yeah, absolutely brutal engage there. But we are still getting lots of card progress here. I can see that St. Lawrence isn't actually contesting this, and we're going to push it all the way up to this gate before St. Lawrence finally decides to touch. And we still have a lot of really great ults in the bank. But it looks like we are going to start getting dismantled here at the end of the fight. But I think that was a really valuable fight for SNHU Pearl. It was almost as if they won and pushed it because they never contested it, which honestly, that's a win in our books.
I mean, if it works, it is going to work there. And looks like the Kitsune Rush came out from St. Lawrence, so they're still holding to that Soldier Art, which can do a lot of damage
Yep.
if you get the nice little railgun headshot there. And we already see people are starting to contest that. Payload, though, is slowly starting to go back. It looks like Pearl is trying to somewhat regroup. From in there, I thought we saw a Zen ult, but or Zen come out, but no, looks like we Jetpack Cat just blazing through the wall there.
Oh!
It jumps right in, and there is a double elimination there. Fives and Brivet there are both going to take out people, but looks like Winston and everyone else is slowly going to start taking people off in that back line. Bob already running.
Yeah, it looks like we had a bit of a primal Winston in the back line, but it looks like things have been dealt with swiftly. And it looks like SNHU Pearl's going to take this checkpoint.
Yeah. Here goes. They're so close in that checkpoint. It's just one-on-one here overtime. Sitting that checkpoint, SNHU just needs to get everyone off. And there it is going to hit this next
Oh,
checkpoint.
and the
Not
brutal
quite as
stall from
the
May.
May jumped out.
And the monkey jumps in
freezes.
and the Curie TP's in. They don't have any ults to work with here, and it's just raw fighting, no ults. But we're going to, and we're going to see the window from Fives. He's going to get 2, and finally, maybe we secure this checkpoint. 3 from Fives. 4! He just keeps going.
There goes Char, and there goes the Reaper, and team kill for Pearl going in here. That is going to slow down everyone, and now SNHU finally past that checkpoint, gets a nice little minute and a half extra time added. And it's kind of curious to see if St. Lawrence here is going to keep allowing them to push that without contesting.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to have some pretty neutral fights here. No ults are quite built up yet. We really did commit a lot of ults from both sides from the last couple of fights. So I think these fights are going to just be up to building ults, making something big happen. And it looks like we're coming up on a Venture ult from St. Lawrence. And it looks like we have a Death Blossom from SNHU Pearl. I'm excited to see. The Death Blossom's been built. We're really hammering into this Winston here in the front line. Each team just holding the resources, waiting to make the right moment, waiting to commit at the right time. And we're in. The Death Blossom's in. It gets 1, 2, 3 in the back line. The Emor gets forced out from SNH Purple. It doesn't matter. Barely anything had to be committed. The Death Blossom was absolutely perfect.
SNHU there getting 5 eliminations. Not quite the team kill. There's the Winston already jumping in to try to slow down the payload here. 1-3. As now we're starting to see alts come out everywhere as the May alt comes out and is going to freeze as everyone is trying to keep the Naminia up. And Winston's alt about ready to come out as well. SNHU is going to get 2 alts out of this fight. But they're going to be forced to back off and regroup before trying to commit any of these ultimates, and that is going to be round 1 complete. SNHU taking 2 of the checkpoints. But pretty interesting game so far. I mean,
Yeah.
we kind of missed the first game. We go in there, we go for the second round here. And Eichenwald, always a great map. We saw kind of an interesting strategy to sit back from that choke point. But I mean, with Yashi, he's been kind of the menace of that Winston, able to jump around, really dismantle SNHU's team or maybe teamwork positioning there a little bit, making it a little bit harder for them to push in.
Yeah, but what I am really proud of, SNHU Pro did make some really important switches. I saw that we made it onto the Reaper to really deal with that Winston, and it
Mm.
worked. We really started shredding the Winston, and we got some great value with the Reaper ult there at the end. So,
Yeah, I mean, it was 5 player elimination with the
yeah,
reroll right there. Would have been great if it was a team kill for sure, but that did give SNHU a little bit of time. Then the Winston came back out. But once again, I mean, they're gonna have to find a way to at least keep Monkey down. Maybe we'll see a Winston ban coming into this next round.
yeah, I'd definitely be excited to see that, depending on what map it is for sure.
Right.
Their Winston seems very strong.
Yeah, and I mean, going in to this next one, looks like everyone's going to be staying the same across the board, except there is now 2 jetpack hats, and we
Ah,
see a Torbjorn.
yes, instead of the Reaper. I have some insider information.
Oh yeah,
Skelter is actually a bit of a Torbjorn player as opposed to
really?
Reaper. So I'm really excited to see this. And I think Torbjorn does a pretty good job at keeping Winston down as well.
Yeah, with the turret getting a little bit set up there. Yeah.
Yeah, and also his secondary fires
Mm-hmm.
quite similar to
Yep,
Reaper.
it does. Meanwhile, SNHU here playing aggressively up to that choke point, as they're now got to worry about the jetpack cat hitting the back line here. But everyone is staying up as Kashinda there is coming in. Is going after the May, well, keeping their May alive, and there is a explosion from the Dominion. Yashi, though, getting fives, forcing fives back that hallway. Skelter is going to fall there due to a melee from the Jetpack Cat, and it is going to leave Kitsune all alone here with fives, trying to get something to work.
Yeah, this angles played from St. Lawrence was wonderfully done. Honestly, I mean, it really dismantled the world there. But I have no doubt that we'll make the adjustments to make sure that doesn't happen. But we're seeing some awesome contesting from the Jetpack Cat, but sadly our Jetpack Cat goes down.
It's and that is going to be taking of the payload here. That payload is going to go through SNHU. Looks like they're getting ready to set up. We see that turret already getting set up from the Torbjorn. And Aster is going to sit above. It's not a position you want to walk into as soon as that gate opens up with the Ash having already set up. And looking across the board, I mean, no one really has the ultimates yet. May just got her snowball ultimate, so SNHU is going to be a little careful there as they group up, or if they get anywhere near it, try to contest that point.
Yeah, it does look like St. Lawrence is working a lot of different angles here. They're working through the side of Castle, but the May gets too greedy and gets punished immediately by the Domina and the Tornado. But it looks like we're having some issues up here on our high ground. There's a Jetpack Cat, but the Jetpack Cat goes down. So it looks like things are getting dismantled on St. Lawrence's side. But they are building some pretty key ultimates here. The Blizzard and the Kitsune is up, as well as the Jetpack Cat ultimate. Meanwhile, SNHU Pearl is just a little bit behind on the economy.
Yeah, but I mean, they do have the Baptiste all getting ready, or any time to throw it. So I mean, they're going to get a little bit of heal and damage as it goes through that wave. And we're already seeing everyone jump on Smelter here as we
Oh.
do see Pokemon there is going to fall to the death. And we see Skelter running around trying to hammer things. And no one is really able to contest that payload right now. That payload is very much similar to the first round where St. Lawrence wasn't really contesting the payload and that it is still continually going. Looks like they might be trying to stop them over here at this checkpoint.
Yeah, and admittedly, it's a pretty hard point in the map to contest the payload. But it looks like we're going to see a really aggressive primal here from St. Lawrence. They're really getting active. Two goes down on SNHU Pearl from the Venture, but Bob here to contest the point. It looks like he's going to go down pretty fast on point as well. SNHU Pearl getting pushed further and further back, and only one ult committed from St. Lawrence as well. But it looks like we're coming up on a pretty big ult fight from both sides.
Yeah, five still holding there. Dominion picked up the ult, and we do have Torbjorn's ultimate just kind of waiting in the pocket. The Kitsune rush, though, from the opposing team might be a little bit of an issue, depending on when that pops up. Get that nice little damage boost, nice little health boost as well. As SNHU is still playing fairly up, but they're not sitting quite as far back as St. Lawrence was during the initial here. And there is the Baptiste ult coming out, increasing damage and the healing. Kitsune rush being held by St. Lawrence as they're going to be forced to back off as at least as one of their DPS players goes down, almost losing a second there as Adventure looks like he's going to get away with just a sliver of health.
Yep, it looks like St. Lawrence has to do kind of a full reset here. But the Katsune gets dropped straight on the main, pop the Suzu, and the ult comes out from the SNHU Pearl's Torbjorn. It looks like things are still kind of at a standstill, though, despite two really important ults being used.
No, I mean, yeah, and it looks like the Venture is getting ready to go as well, hitting that side, going for those flanks. As that payload is still being stuck in place. Neither team really being able to get the advantage. There is the snowball coming out from the
The
May. There
Blizzard
is
comes out. It's absolutely massive. We popped the St. Lawrence pops a Venture ult to absolutely capitalize on it, but the Emor was so unbelievably perfect from SNHU Pearl. We lost absolutely nobody to that devastating ult combo. But our supports still do go down after everything is said and done.
Skeletor here trying to quickly get back, and we do see Pokemon's here sitting on the point, trying to keep the payload from moving forward. A 3-on-1 issue and getting bullied, but the support's now finally getting back up to the front. There is the shield coming out, and the Venture is going to jump up there in the middle. Winston just still just getting that back line that's going to start picking off SNHU's players if they're not careful. Baptiste ultimate is out once again. Already have that recharged, and that is the only ult coming up right now. Still a little over 2.5 minutes remaining. SNHU still has a long time. As you see Winston and Pokemon here dueling back and forth, and that is going to force St. Lawrence back, and the Winston ult coming up as well.
Yeah, with this upcoming fight, looks like St. Lawrence is pocketing some pretty aggressive ulti. We're gonna see a Kitsune, we're gonna see a Nano, we're gonna see a Primal. It's gonna be exciting. I expect to see some really hard hitting dives here, especially with the Winston and the Nano.
And we have Bob. Can't forget Bob.
Absolutely. SNHU Pearl's got the Bob in the pocket to make sure things don't go too crazy.
No, and see SNHU here still holding this point. St. Lawrence here slowly going in, and there is the Nano on the Winston
Yep, and
as he
there's the
charges
Kitsune to
in,
follow up.
and
But the
there's the
Bob comes
Bob.
straight out. That's all the ults left in the bank, though.
Meanwhile, Winston is still holding on to that rampage, and that Kitsune rush just got used as well. By the looks of it. And there goes Pokemon's is going to fall to the Winston here as Winston is still going on 5-0, trying to do whatever he can. Get in the air. There is the ultimate, and SNHU here is going to fall in game 2.
Yeah, pretty well played from both teams.
I mean,
though, honestly.
yeah, I mean, it's kind of interesting to see both teams had a kind of somewhat a similar play style when it came to how this map was played. And Fives did have going in here. Oh, okay.
Yes.
Throws out the his field. It gets separated. Runs for the Winston. There's Immortal coming out and gets another elimination. And I figured the Reaper wasn't going to get play of the game.
I mean, that window was pretty impressive.
It
I remember
was.
seeing them going down one by one.
Yeah.
Baptiste still gets popped 1, 2, 3, 4. I think we only saw 3 from that Reaper roll, to be honest.
I think it was like 4 or 5, but I could be wrong. But or at least it was at least a 5-player elimination.
Yeah.
Yeah. So SNHU still has at least one more game to play here. Still plenty of time to turn it around going forward. Kind of like I said, it was kind of interesting because they both played that same style. Where compared to at least SNHU when they first rushed in, they were every St. Lawrence was playing back further back, closer to the point. SNHU attacked. They were putting it a little further out, but as soon as that payload got past the first checkpoint and through that gate, neither team really had a lot of time to sit on that payload. It was just constantly getting pushed up, and they were waiting really up until it got checkpoint and try to hold it at the smaller bridge.
Yep, absolutely. I think one of the big differences we did see in the playstyle between St. Lawrence and Pearl was St. Lawrence was pocketing that Winston,
Yep.
and that was a big problem for a lot of the map.
Hmm.
Winston was always able to be in, always be able to be pressuring, and even when we made the swaps, we just still couldn't quite make the pieces connect there. So I trust that we'll see some strategy from SNHU Pearl, maybe a Winston ban, maybe a map
Maybe.
pick that doesn't favor Winston.
Right. Yeah, but I mean, map pick's kind of a little bit harder with the kind of more limited pool we have to play with. But I mean, in theory, but yeah, I think the Winston ban's probably the more likely of the one. Get rid of the one tank hero that can just jump in the middle of your line and just absolutely start destroying your supports.
Yep.
The next thing you know, you're fighting like 3-on-1 on the point.
Yep.
But it is going to be SNHU's pick for the game mode.
Yeah.
So and so we just got done with hybrid, so it can't be hybrid. So it's either got to be Flashpoint or Escort.
I am wagering a guess we are going to escort.
It could Gibraltar.
That would be interesting.
It would be
I'd like to
interesting.
see it.
I would. I mean, it would be better than Saravasa on Flashpoint.
Yep, I agree. And I think our DPS lineup really has some great hit scan players,
Mm-hmm.
especially Kitsune.
Yeah.
Absolutely phenomenal Ash player. And I think it's a really strong suit to take us to a poke map that we can play Domina Ash. I think
Mm-hmm.
that would be really strong.
Maybe even see the Freya come out.
Yeah, that'd be exciting.
Right.
I'm a big Freya fan. So, regarding SNHU Pearl's ban on last map, we did ban Onron.
Yes, we did ban the on run.
So, I'm curious if we're going to see from St. Lawrence and Onron on whatever map we're playing here.
Maybe. I mean, would it make sense to throw
Yeah,
one of that one in there? Um, but it seemed. I think the the tank pick is going to be is more. It seems to be a lot of their kind of linchpin seems to be around the mobility of the Winston. So I
yep,
mean, obviously, if you can shut that Winston down, at least even a little bit, prevents some of the freedom of movement. Get around. I mean, I don't really know what you would really want. Probably stop the Winston. I mean, you could probably argue Zarya just because let Winston come in, but
yep,
at that point you're kind of sacrificing the wide shield that Domina has for that small little bubble.
yeah, absolutely. It was very interesting to see Domino play for SNH Pro. It's still we're only day 3, 4 in the season,
Right.
and we're already seeing the new characters. I think that's really just showing how strong some of
Some
these
of them
characters
are.
are. Yeah,
Yeah.
and they've already laid some nerfs on specifically Domino and Jetpack Cat. We've
Mm,
already seen um, Domino got a decrease in the amount of health each section in her shield gets,
mm-hmm.
which definitely that was a good hit. Still not enough to be
Still
honest.
not a little. Yeah. That I mean, yeah. Now I think about it, that shield was up for a while.
Yeah, if you don't break that shield, it can be up 80% of the game, I'd say.
80% of the game.
It's crazy because as soon as it goes down, it's got like 2 seconds left to come back up. It's crazy.
That's even worse than. Ugh.
Maybe not worse than like Overwatch 1 Orisa, but
I mean, yeah, yeah, I could, yeah, that is true. But like, even Sigma can't even keep that shield up or
no,
that
not at
quick of a
all.
cooldown either.
Yeah. But I think what Sigma does that Domino really can't is Sigma can apply a lot of more medium range pressure, I'd say,
Yep.
with that rock
Hmm.
especially, I think. Where Domino shines is being able to stand really, really far back and
Yeah,
stay really fortified and win.
and be able to heal when it comes up to that. I mean, yeah, I mean Sigma. I mean, outside of that mid range pressure, I mean that rock also does knock down whoever it does hit.
Yep.
Plus, I mean, having the Domino ult is nice because you obviously have that little barrier around everyone. They don't get it off, they blow up. But I feel like Flux is probably the better ultimate out of the two.
I think so. I
If
think
you can if you can land Flux.
yeah, it is a bit of a tricky one. Domina still being really new. We're still trying to get a
Mm-hmm.
better read on what how good of an ult Domino ult truly is.
Right.
Um And from what I'm observing so far, at day one of Domina being launched, everyone was exploding to the ult. It was crazy. You'd see like 3Ks, 4Ks, 5Ks from this ult because nobody knew what to do.
Right.
The Mercy would pull out the pistol and start shooting, and you're like, "What's happening?" But um, as things are kind of developing out, we're a couple days into the season,
Hmm.
we're actually seeing that ult doesn't quite get as much value now. I'm kind of rarely seeing anyone die to a Domino ult recently, which is kind of tragic. Only after a couple of days,
Really.
people are already figuring out the counterplay to that, which is unfortunate. But I think it's kind of a testament to how characters naturally develop within the scene and how it's probably for the best that Blizzard didn't go and completely destroy Domino with nerfs, even though she was so strong.
Right. I mean, and we're kind of seeing kind of some of the shifts from kind of like the standard meta, because I know Tracer kind of slowly falling out of the meta with this new patch.
Yes, that's very exciting. Tracer was pretty terrible all of last season. It was really sad. But we actually are seeing a resurgence in Tracer, which is exciting.
I mean, who doesn't love getting a little pulse bomb like right last second you don't think they're gonna come from anywhere?
Yeah.
But wonder how these bans and picks are going. Kind of curious to see how it's gonna be. I'm really curious to see what this map's gonna be.
Yep.
I mean, I still think Gibraltar's probably the most likely pick.
Yeah. I think Gibraltar's a solid one.
Well, it has a little bit of everything, kind of similar to Eichenwald. Have the high points, low points.
Yep.
So
Yeah. But I guess it is worth noting. I guess Eichenwald didn't really work out. So maybe we will try something totally different.
yeah, I mean, I think the biggest change with Eichenwald now, with how teams are playing, is the jetpack guy just being able to carry a teammate and just throw them in.
Yep. That's absolutely fair. And I've that all definitely varies in effectiveness depending on what map you're on.
Right.
But sometimes really don't expect it to be good whenever you get hit with it. Like usually, like the best use case scenario
Mm.
is to hit someone, drag them into the void, and they're dead
Oh
instantly,
yeah.
right? But even without maps without voids, we're seeing people take one person, drag them into the middle of the enemy team, and they just get absolutely exploded from all angles. So it's a pretty versatile ult, to be honest.
I
I was a
mean,
little surprised.
yeah, I mean, I was kind of interested because I saw a little bit of play style within, and just all the videos I was seeing was just people getting carried out to the far sides of the map and just getting dropped.
Yep.
Like I saw one person get hit by one of the trains in one of the maps too.
Yep. I,
So,
I literally just did that to somebody
oh, did
today
you?
in a game. Yeah, that exact train that you're thinking of. It was a good time. There's an arcade game mode right now with only that map in Busan,
No.
and it's like a 3v3.
Uh huh.
So I just lock Jetpack Cat and throw people in the train. It's a good time.
Always gonna be interesting,
Yeah, absolutely.
but they are taking their picks. It's like there might be a little bit of back and forth going on. However, I think we will be right back with this after this break here, and they should be. And here we are, Shambali with the escort. I love Shambali, actually, it's a really fun map. And it looks like Kitsune there is going to sit on with the Widow. We do see Sigma coming out though, and we do see the return of Kiriko and the Jetpack Cat for SNHU.
Yeah, I'm seeing a pretty brutal comp from St. Lawrence. The Monkey, Lucio, Kiri, and they're just gonna absolutely try and get as aggressive as they can with these dives. For sure. So we're gonna see how SNHU Pro changes things up from last map and see how we can.
Meanwhile, we got Pokemon's here dueling with the Winston, and both of them are gonna back off with Pokemon's there looking like taking a little bit more damage, and there goes the Venturi there going to fall. But it looks like a res happened. So you're getting everyone back here, and SNHU slowly taking this point here as they are being able to at least get on to the payload and keep it moving forward. And there's a Sombra going invis, and it's going to go after the squishy. Ash there is not going to be able to get away there. Seltzer now going to go invis, get a little bit of health, and jump back into the fight. I'm so glad Sombra's not a perm invis.
Not anymore. She does have a perk where every time she hacks while invis, she gets 3 more seconds of invis, which is pretty brutal.
It is, especially if they know what they're doing. Pokemon's there, just getting harassed by the Ash a little bit, as that they're not really contesting this payload. They seem far less concerned about stopping it in middle sections here at small points. And there's Winston jumping in, and it's gonna get Pokemon's there and Five's both gonna fall.
Yep, St. Lawrence's comp here is pretty explosive. It's pretty all or nothing. We're either in there absolutely diving and trying to kill the backline, or we're chilling, we're waiting for our perfect moment. And you saw it just right there. SNHU Pro benefited from the push progress, but was immediately shut down by that dive. I'm curious how we're going to adjust to that.
I mean, interesting. I'm kind of surprised. I mean, you could probably go for the Pocket Mercy, but at that point you're going to be losing your DPS, or some of your DPS here. As Kitsune and oops, and there's the new one.
Yes, the on-run did actually come out from St. Lawrence. It looks like the ban was probably from that first map they've been playing it. I'm curious to see if this on-run is everything it lives up to be, but Pokemon turns the corner, hit the rock on the on-run. She immediately goes down. We pop the Kitsune on both sides here. The fight's going every which way, but it looks like St. Lawrence is up numbers here.
Slowly, SNHU here slowly getting picked off. The Jetpack Cat there is going to fall, and SNHU is going to be forced back here with 1 minute and 20 seconds remaining in this first round. But yeah, St. Lawrence definitely seems to be fairly explosive. They either want to stop it at the checkpoints, or they try to get everyone set up. And there's a rock going in, and it is not going to do much as they go into this team fight here a little bit. Everyone's slowly starting to back off. Flux is setting up. Bob, though, also ready to come out. St. Lawrence has 2 ults saved up, but SNHU here doing a little bit better on that ult save.
Yep, absolutely. We did a really great job forcing out the beat from St. Lawrence, and Onron goes down from St. Lawrence as well. The Bob comes out to try and equalize the playing field here, but the Bob gets hacked, and it's going to go down here pretty soon.
There goes the Bob as that payload. Pokemon's here just keeping this payload up. There comes the Flux, is going to get, and there goes the Ash and the Kiriko, both going to fall there for St. Lawrence, leaving Winston all by himself here with Lucio coming in for a little bit of assist, forcing everyone off. There is the ult from Winston coming out. Not going to get too much as there's the hack from Sombra, and the Winston ult now going to run out, but still has enough time here to at least force. Pokemon is going to take that out, and now the contesting of this payload begins.
Yep, looks like things are really breaking down here in overtime. SNHU Pro dropping 1 by 1, the Winston getting on top of them. And it looks like this fight came to a close, each and every ult getting used already there at the same time.
And SNHU here is going to have to really sit on this payload going into this next round.
Yep, absolutely. And I'm curious to see if we're going to see a shift in playstyles, a shift in comp maybe to account for having to be on the cart so much.
Torbjorn?
When in doubt.
When in doubt, Torbjorn.
He's honestly pretty strong.
I mean, at this point, they could just pull out the Mercy. Start doing the pocket heal.
We got to pull out the Quidditch comp.
Get a Quidditch comp. That would be pretty interesting to see.
I mean, as much of a joke it is, like, a Bastion doesn't even sound bad here.
No, it doesn't. I mean, that first opening point, it's the Bastion right there on that high ground, and you just fire down.
It does look like we're actually going to see a pretty drastic shift here from SNHU Pro. It looks like we're pivoting to more of a brawl style here with the Ramatra and the Vendetta.
Yeah, it should be interesting how this is gonna play out here. Um, and Vendetta was kind of one of those. It's kind of interesting because again, we just got Vendetta not that long ago, really, and then
Yeah.
5 new heroes came out, which usually we get what probably like 1 or 2 a year, typically. I'd say.
Yeah,
It's
I'd
the
say
normal schedule.
once every 4 months we get a hero. That was their schedule for a while, but
Yeah.
they really caught us off guard with this one.
Right. Kind of curious to see how, and we do have a Ram.
Yeah.
I like Ram. Ram's always fun. You know, getting there, kind of nice little brawl tank there.
Yeah, get up close and personal. I'm excited.
You see Kitsune here sitting in backline trying to get that high ground, and there is the Kitsune. Not the Kitsune, but there goes the Kiriko from the opposing team. And SNHU here is having that payload go, and Monkey is now going to jump in. There's Vendetta going in. Is going to take out Yashi there, and there goes Monkey. And that is going to force the rest of St. Lawrence here to back off.
Yashi gets completely obliterated, and I'm so happy to see that SNHU made such a drastic pivot because you can tell it immediately paid off.
I mean, yeah, I don't think St. Lawrence, they're expecting the Vendetta player to jump right in on them, finish them off, as they all turned and just focused on Winston.
Yeah, so it looks like St. Lawrence is going to have to play a little bit more patiently here to counteract. It's such a heavy close quarters damage.
Yeah, I mean, we have Winston there sitting in. Winston's going to jump up, going after Skelter there, trying to get a little bit of revenge, but he's not going to get too much there. He's going to be forced to get into the corner, wait for the team to come up, and there goes Skelter, and now Monkey's going to jump in. There's Ram going in, shifting into his mode, his melee mode.
Yeah, it looks like we're still going to benefit from this fight despite losing Vendetta so early. We're still finding our kills, still finding our ways to win this fight.
Meanwhile, Jetpack Cat there is starting to go, try to keep everyone alive as that payload is still moving forward. There's the ultimate for Jetpack Cat, though. Not the most useful one on this map, probably, at least not here. As we see, Yashi is going to just charge his bolt and send it down and wait for everyone to regroup as 3 of St. Lawrence's players went down in that fight. SNHU now going to get a little bit of a break in time for reset.
Yeah, and we're seeing some pretty important pretty important ults coming up from SNHU Pro and both St. Lawrence. We're going to see an honor run up from St. Lawrence, which I'm pretty excited for, seeing if they go for the Meteor Strike or the Resurrection. But it looks like the Jetpack Cat ult goes straight in. Doesn't get anyone.
And there's Winston there. Sitting in the back line is going to take out Kitsune there. So the Soldier is going to go down. However, 5 still holding that Kitsune rush. And there they both go. Well, the red gets a little bit above there. Winston now also throwing his ultimate. And there's Vendetta coming down, going on to the Ashe there. And is going to take out Ashe. And Vendetta's just cutting in the back line. Very much the anti-Winston. However, it looks like SNHU here is going to have to quickly scramble to get to this point.
Not enough, unfortunately.
And that is going to be another win to St. Lawrence. See who play the game is going to be for this one. Yashi.
Yeah, this Winston was absolutely brutal for pretty much this entire match, to be honest.
It really was. Goes in after the Ashe, takes the Ashe out, goes for the double. Jetpack Cat still just falling. Jetpack Cat in there. They go. SNHU is going to fall tonight. They were 1-0 before this match. Now they're 1-1, which I mean, still not a bad way to start the season.
Yeah, no, not at all. I don't think we should be upset by this loss at all. We're definitely going to go back over it. We're going to make sure we know what happened. We're going to get back in there. We're going to learn some things. And absolutely, I think we're going to have some good material to take from that for sure.
It's always fun. Definitely interesting seeing the new heroes be so quickly pulled into the meta, especially Jetpack Cat there. We saw pretty much every match that had, I'm pretty sure, had Jetpack Cat being played. So definitely probably more helpful in Lijiang for sure. A lot of points you can drop people on. But that is all we have for tonight. It's best of 5. St. Lawrence is going to take the dub for tonight. And we will be back Monday for Valorant unless something changes and there's a reschedule there. But as always, make sure you like, subscribe, follow, do all the stuff so you can see Graham when Sapphire plays here,
Yeah.
plays the DPS, goes for his little Genji plays. And that is it for us for tonight. Thank you. We will be back on Monday with Valorant.